Imagine waking up 100 years from now in a world you don't recognize, surrounded by your great-great-grandchildren. Sound impossible? Well, that's exactly what hundreds of people are signing up for right now. It's called cryopreservation, and it's not just a plot from your favorite sci-fi movie anymore. So, what exactly is cryopreservation? Well, imagine if you could press the pause button on life itself. That's essentially what cryopreservation aims to do. It's an advanced technical procedure that uses extremely low temperatures to stop all biological processes in the body. But it's not actually freezing. You see, when we talk about cryopreservation, we're not talking about turning people into human popsicles. That would be disastrous for our cells. Instead, the process involves replacing the body's fluids with special cryoprotectant solutions. Think of it like medical-grade antifreeze for your body. These solutions prevent the formation of ice crystals, which would otherwise cause significant damage to our cells and tissues. The ultimate goal? To preserve the body or the brain in a state of suspended animation, all with the hopes that future medical technology will be able to reverse the process and cure whatever caused the person's death in the first place. Now, I know what you might be thinking. This sounds like something out of a movie, right? Well, you're not wrong. Remember that 90s classic, Demolition Man? The one where Sylvester Stallone and Wesley Snipes are cryogenically frozen as part of their prison sentences? Now, while that film may have taken some creative liberties, I mean, who wouldn't want to wake up in a world where Taco Bell won the franchise wars? The basic concept isn't too far off from what companies like Tomorrow Bio are trying to achieve today. Speaking of Tomorrow Bio, let's talk about these trailblazers in the chilly field of cryopreservation. These guys are Europe's first cryopreservation startup, and they're not messing around. Founded in 2020, they've already cryopreserved 6 people and 5 pets. Now, I don't know about you, but the idea of my furry friend potentially joining me in the future is both heartwarming and a little surreal. Now, Tomorrow Bio offers 2 main options: the whole body preservation for a cool $220,000, or if you're feeling a bit more budget conscious, you can opt for brain-only preservation at $81,000. Despite the hefty price tag, over 650 customers have already signed up. That's a lot of people betting on a future where death is just a temporary setback. The average age of these future hopefuls? Just 36 years old. Now, you might be wondering why someone in their mid-30s would be thinking about this. Well, it's not as crazy as it sounds. Let's think about it. If you were to develop a serious medical condition later in life, you might become uninsurable, making it much harder and more expensive to finance cryopreservation. By signing up early, you're essentially locking in your ticket to the future, regardless of what health issues might crop up down the line. So, how does this whole process work? Well, it's certainly not as simple as shoving someone in a giant freezer. The team at Tomorrow Bio has a carefully orchestrated procedure they call field cryoprotection. It all starts the moment a person is declared legally dead. Now, I know that sounds a bit morbid, but remember, in the world of cryopreservation, death is hopefully just a temporary state. As soon as the heart stops beating, it's go time for the cryopreservation team. They roll in with their specially retrofitted ambulances. Think of them as high-tech ice wagons equipped with everything needed to begin the cryopreservation process on the spot. These mobile surgery rooms are a crucial part of the process because, as you can imagine, time is of the essence here. The first step is to cool the body down to about -80 degrees centigrade, or -112 Fahrenheit. This is done to slow down cellular degradation as much as possible. Next, the team replaces the body's fluids with that special cryoprotectant solution that we talked about earlier. This is crucial to prevent damaging ice crystals from forming. Over about a week, they lower the temperature even further, all the way down to a bone-chilling -196 centigrade, or -320 Fahrenheit. At this temperature, all biological processes essentially come to a complete stop. Finally, the body is placed in a long steel container filled with liquid nitrogen. And this is where the patient will remain indefinitely. Well, until science figures out how to bring them back. Now, I know what you're probably thinking. This all sounds great in theory, but could it actually work? Well, that's the million-dollar question. Let's dive into the science behind it all. Currently, it's not possible to revive a human after they've been cryopreserved. But, and this is a big but, there's no fundamental biological reason why it wouldn't eventually be possible. Science is making strides in this field every day, and some of the advancements are pretty mind-blowing. For decades now, scientists have been successfully cryopreserving and rewarming parts of the body, like embryos, sperm, and skin. In fact, this technology is routinely used in fertility treatments. So we do know that, at least on a small scale, it is possible to freeze biological material and bring it back to life. But what about something more complex, like an organ? Well, in a groundbreaking experiment, scientists managed to cryopreserve a rabbit's kidney. When they warmed it back up, it became fully functional again. Now, let's talk about the brain. After all, that's where all of our memories, personality, and essentially us reside. In 2016, researchers showed that a rabbit's brain remained in near-perfect condition after being cryopreserved and rewarmed. This suggests that everything associated with memory and learning can potentially be preserved. But perhaps the most exciting development is that scientists have managed to cryopreserve and revive whole model organisms while keeping their memories intact. Now, I know what you're thinking. A rabbit's kidney or a tiny organism is a far cry from a whole human being. And you're absolutely right. We're still a very long way from successfully reviving a cryopreserved human, but these advancements give us a reason to be cautiously optimistic. Of course, there are still many challenges to overcome. The human body is incredibly complex, and scaling up these techniques to work on a whole person is going to be no small feat. But hey, if you told someone 100 years ago that we'd be able to transplant hearts or edit genes, they probably would have thought you were crazy. Science has a way of making the impossible possible, given enough time and research. And that's exactly what companies like Tomorrow Bio are banking on. So after all of this, you might be wondering, should I sign up for cryopreservation? Well, that's a deeply personal decision, and not one to be taken lightly. It's quite literally a choice that could impact your existence for centuries to come. Let's break down some factors you might want to consider. First things first, there's the financial aspect. Can you afford that hefty price tag? You're essentially betting a sizable chunk of change on future technology. Now, for some, it might seem like an incredible investment in potential extra life. For others, it might feel like throwing money at a long shot. Then, there's the scientific outlook. How optimistic are you about the future of medical technology? Do you believe revival will be possible in your lifetime? Or rather, your death time? It's at least worth doing some research into the current state of cryonics science. Now, your philosophical stance is a whole other crucial factor. Are you comfortable with the idea of potentially waking up in a vastly different future? How do you feel about the ethical implications we discussed earlier? Of course, there's no right or wrong answer here. It's all about what aligns with your personal beliefs and values. Consider the impact on your family, too. How would your decision affect your loved ones? Are they supportive of the idea? Remember, if you're successfully revived, you might be reuniting with your great-great-great-grandchildren, rather than your immediate family. That's a pretty mind-bending thing to wrap your head around. And what about the grief process for your loved ones? Knowing that you're cryopreserved might make it harder for them to find closure. For many, a major motivating factor is their curiosity about the future. How strong is your desire to see what the world will be like in 50, 100, or 500 years? For some, this alone is enough reason to sign up, viewing it as the ultimate form of time travel. Tomorrow Bio suggests that signing up earlier rather than later can be beneficial. It locks in your ability to be cryopreserved regardless of future health issues. And the price difference between signing up at 30 versus 50 is minimal if you're using life insurance to fund it. Remember, this isn't like signing up for a new gym membership or a streaming service. It's a decision that could potentially affect your existence for centuries to come. Now, we'd love to hear from you. Would you consider freezing yourself for a chance at future revival? Or does this whole idea leave you out in the cold? Drop your thoughts in the comments down below. If you enjoyed this deep dive into the world of cutting-edge science and technology, don't forget to hit that subscribe button. And hey, while you're at it, why not give that bell icon a little tap? This way you'll be notified as soon as we upload new content. Thanks for watching, we'll catch you in the next video.